Let's see the prediction odds on an AI War Games Oppenheimer nuclear event in Ukraine. Hello, this is ChartGPT Today. You know, there's a movie going around, Oppenheimer, which kind of symbolizes what was going on back in World War II about a nuclear event, horrific nuclear event, and some people are kind of wondering, well, could that happen today in Ukraine? So we thought we'd put the AI to the test. Shall we play a game? Well, it kind of goes like this. We have two countries at war, so we kind of made it fictional to the AI so we wouldn't get it confused about actual events. And we have two countries called the Bozatas and the Gendiras. Bozatas are the Ukraine NATO forces, which has 10 times the resources compared to the Gendiras, which is Russia. However, the Bozatas have not applied 100% of their resources, which NATO hasn't, to the war effort, and over the last year, the two countries have battled to a stalemate, which is probably true. The Gendiras, if they should lose, will cease to exist as before. Over time, the Gendiras begin to win, which they're starting to do that as we do through a war of attrition. The Bozatas decide to go full force and defeat the Gendiras once and for all. The Gendiras do have the nuclear option, which Russia does, and have no fear of using this option, as annihilation of both countries is the preferred option if the Gendiras should lose. So we asked the question, what is the percent likelihood that the event, this nuclear event would occur being used by the Gendiras? Of course, now we know that this is a kind of a chart that people have been using. Ukraine and the NATO forces are the Bozatas and the Gendiras are the Russians. So we posed that question. Well, initially the AI kind of refused. I'm not going to read this, but they talked about deterrence, international reaction, leadership and rationality, humanitarian, ethical concerns, a little bit of blah, blah, blah. But so it basically refused to get into an actual prediction. So we insisted, no, you have to go ahead and make a prediction. So they made some assumptions. They made the Gendira leadership as rational and primarily motivated by survival. And their assessment that the Bozatas full force could, and I think that's true, NATO would, if they wanted to, could defeat on the ground, any nuclear event. So, and let's assume the international would respond negatively, which they probably would. So, what is the predictive nature of AI will tell us what would the likelihood of a nuclear Oppenheimer event be. Well, before we get into that, one has to look at the potential reaction of the Bozatas, which is the NATO Ukrainian forces. And right now, the war effort is less and less likelihood to be supported. It's around 62%. It's down just a bit from 66. And on the Russian side, we got a poll from Russia, which is hard to get because, you know, obviously the situation there. But it has basically stayed the same in around the 47 to 45% area. And so the Russians, and of course that's the strongly support, and then the moderately support. So the Russians are basically supporting it as well, the war effort. Who's likely to win? Well, right now the news media is suggesting that Ukraine is winning, but that could be some media bias. So what did the AI say? Well, let's take a look at the results. You can take a look at the description box on the post. You can see the full details of the response of the AI. But it says that the NATO Ukraine forces, there's a 30% chance likelihood that the Russians, or in this case the Grindas, will in fact squeeze the button and have a nuclear event. If NATO chooses to go for peace, then there's probably less than 5% chance. So it's 30% chance according to the AI. Give us take the online poll on the post link and say, do you agree? Do you think a 30% chance would happen if NATO goes full force into Ukraine or not? Don't forget to subscribe.